Shalom, shalom. This is brother coming to you again on the highway and the byway, bringing out this gospel as truth to edify the hopefully elect of Yahshua, the Israel, so-called blacks and the Americans and Latinos, whose seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to one and two-thirds of our people of the impending judgment of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is going to bring the great Babylon America to edify the one-third hopefully elect of Yahshua. And it's always a pleasure to warn Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, that the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is going to send his only begotten son, the Mashiach, to destroy you, put you into slavery, okay, and set up an everlasting kingdom. But before we get started, I'd like to turn and give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kadash. Double honors to teachers, elders, and the boss of great Muslim, like God's brothers, put on this truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and to brothers and sisters tuning in, Shalom. And obviously, this is an indoor camp. We've got some issues out there with the weather, wind, pollutions, and stuff like that. So, obviously being safe and being able to endure means that you have to use wisdom. So nonetheless, the gospel is going to be preached the same, okay, indoors or outdoors. And it's still the same message. It's for our people to repent and turn back to the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. Now, as you know, this is the holiday weekend, for Great Babylon America, known as Memorial Weekend. Sales, barbecues, people can be partying, having a good time, trying to recapture those glory times of Great Babylon America. But, one thing that we always have to remember is what the Mashiach did for us. He made the ultimate sacrifice so that we're here today. He made the ultimate sacrifice so that you have men that are out in the highway and the byway on this unicorn doing this work, okay? Gathering the elect, gathering the sheeps, through preaching this gospel. But as we know, a lot of our people, they're out there living it up in the world. Even though some of them are having a hard time making ends meet, they still want to continue to live it up because why? They have nothing else going for them. They don't have this truth going for them. In fact, let's take a look at the word Memorial Day and what the meaning of it is. Okay, Memorial Day, originally known as Decoration Day, is a federal holiday in the United States for honoring and mourning the U.S. military personnel who died while serving in the United States Armed Forces. From 1868 to 1970, it was observed on May 30th. Since 1971, it is observed on the last Monday of May, so basically tomorrow. The fallen, okay, is the fall attempt of the white man to castrate the world of peace. Now, okay, we know what it's all about, the service members, them. Yet still you have this wicked Lord, Bob, who's controlling Babylon America right now, or sitting in the wicked seat, Trump, is looking to take away the benefits of his veterans, the ones who actually made that sacrifice. So it doesn't really mean anything. Again, Esau is the same one that, didn't think anything of his inheritance, when he traded in for, what we call, the red parch, to Jacob, to, just to satisfy his vivacious, need of immediate gratification. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah 10, and starting with verse 1, it reads, "Hear ye the word which the Lord Yahweh Shemashai speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus said the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them." So here you have right now, okay, a time where you have people falling apart because they see, mass inflation. They see a government that seem to be more against the people than for the people. You're hearing the cries right now, this isn't how it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Why can't we make America the way it used to be? Um, People right now are unsure of what they are going to have, in the near future. Okay. Now we've been warned about participating in Great Babylon America. As I said earlier, you have a lot of jigs right now. They're barbecuing, a lot of people on the beach, you know, eating abominable food, and many of these people are the same ones that will go on TikTok and these other platforms and complain about the fact that they can't make ends meet, but yet still they can't wait until the next holiday comes to go party. Okay. And Esau, while you're trying to get people to remember the fallen, okay, the service members who put their lives on the line to defend what you always call as term as democracy, okay, we always, the righteous remember what the Mashiach did for us, okay, because you murdered our king. You murdered our king. You also murdered a lot of our people. You see, you're trying to come up with all of these, holidays and these um, type of celebration that celebrates your victories over other tribes and especially us, to deflect with a reality that our people, okay, the children of Israel should really be remembering who we are, okay. But even the leaders of our tribes, would take, something like the Passover and turn it into a party. They're taking the solemn days. Okay, that was meant to honor our fallen, our King, our Savior, who did the ultimate sacrifice for us, and turn it into a party because they followed the ways of the oppressor, Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, who doesn't take anything serious. Everything is about jollity and fun and activities, and it's like the scripture said, we were ruled over by children, and the mentality of children is always to do what? Have some sort of fun. They don't think about the consequences of their actions, and this is likewise to a lot of our people, is they don't think the consequences of their actions. You have a lot of the women now suddenly now find themselves in a desperate situation, rather than continue to prosper. The lesson that's been going on from brothers is about 106,000 so-called Black women have been laid off, and that's pretty much probably all the jobs that paid some benefits and other things like that. And now many of them are getting onto the platforms and talking about their sudden demise that they're experiencing, as if now they're supposed to get some type of pity. Now some of them are now, you know, looking for that helping hand from the very men that they despise so much and that they thought that they were over, which is a so-called Black man, okay? And also likewise the Latino man too, who are experiencing it from the Northern Kingdom women. Okay, let's go into the book of Deuteronomy 22 and verse 22. And you have certain things that's going to take place on this weekend. Anytime you have a weekend like this, where you have a long weekend, you can have things that, on top of eating the abominable food like the shrimp and the lobster and the pig, the barbecue pigs that's going to be roasted. You can have something, uh, you can have a lot of jakes that are going to be committing adultery. This is often the time of a lot of adulterous act taking place. First of all, you're committing adultery, you know, colluding with Esau to begin with, celebrating all of his pagan holidays. I mean, every month there's about two or three holidays that we just what came out of what Mother's Day, it's always something to keep you in that sleep mode. Okay. And this is Deuteronomy 22 and 22, and it says, if a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shall thou put away evil from Israel. Okay, and we know this is going to be taking place when you have beers and liquor and, you know, people, especially the women still dressed up like harlots, in the little shorts and skimpy outfit, you know, because instead of see, women are not satisfied with what they have. They're not satisfied with that ordinary man that's working, a job really hard and is responsible paying the bills, making ends meet. You know, they constantly feel like they're missing something. That their head is always there, their eyes is always wondering, what else can I get? What else can I get? What else can I get? Oh, you're gonna get something all right. But you men out there, okay, you can't seem to keep your hands to yourself. You always have this conquest mentality. And the conquest is not about conquering Esau. See, if you had a conquest mentality of conquering or being a great man, okay, your mind would be about conquering the wicked, which is Esau, the Edomite, the so-called white man. See, when we preach this gospel, we stand outside or even or sit inside, make these lessons speaking against the wicked deeds of this man. That's a conquest in itself because we're conquering, okay, the wicked through revealing all of his wickedness. You see, we're not going to just sit by idly, okay, and Esau think that he can just get away manipulating our people constantly, and manipulating and doing whatever he wants in this world. And nobody's going to hold him accountable for it. See, Esau is going to be held accountable by the Mashiach when he returns. The Lord Yahweh Shemashah is going to hold Esau accountable for all of his actions. Okay. But before that, you have to have the witnesses that is coming forward and testifying against the wickedness of this man. And one of those wickedness that Esau has taught you, Jakes, is your fast hand. You're there trying to conquer another man's possession, which is this woman. And the Lord is going to deal with you all severely for that. Okay. And you women, you riotous, adulterous women out there that is feeding into that because you're making sure that you're getting that attention when you put that extra nice weave on your head or wig on your head and put on that revealing outfit, okay, and quite frankly, most of you, 99% of you have a horrible shape and should in no way be wearing the clothes that you're wearing, okay. But then again, you have the spirit, where you have no shame. Okay, you don't have no shame because you're not shamefaced. So you're putting it out there that you're available on the side for a man that may or may not know that he shouldn't be messing with you. And even before you come to the truth, you knew you shouldn't be touching another man's woman. Okay, but now that you know that you shouldn't be, okay, you're not covered. You're not doing that. And Lord willing, there's some judgment this weekend. There's some judgment this weekend. Okay. Likewise, when we go into Leviticus 21 and 5, let's talk about some of the things that's going to be consumed. And a lot of times we don't bring lessons out on these, when we do, but Jake them will watch it and either give thumbs down or they don't like it. Obviously and brothers who've been doing videos long enough know that most of the people that watch our videos are looking for entertainment. They're looking for some form of entertainment. They're not looking for learning. The men are not looking to learn. They're not looking to somehow, they're not grabbing a notebook. All the brothers are teaching me out. Tons of these type of books. Notes where you take notes. You might have a lesson idea. You watching a brother, he might have come up with something you write and go, hey man, I could expand on that. Sometimes the spirit just comes on you to come up with a whole a new topic or something like that. You see in the news, you're constantly combing through the headline. You praying to Yahweh Shema Shai that the spirit come on you to do a lesson. Obviously you get caught up in life with a lot of other different things. For example, I've been traveling the last couple of days. So body's still trying to transition back into normal. My normal schedule. But you always like you have to do the work, and you a lot of you men out there, you're not looking at the brothers down ministry, the way the teachings as a means of like, what, how could I be a part of that as far as getting out there and feeding and edifying the sheep out there to whatever the Lord Yahweh Shemashah is going to give you the ability to do. Okay, so let's go into Leviticus 21 and 5. It reads, okay, and this is one of the biggest things that we see going on right now. Boy, one thing when you walk around, you will see a lot of Jakes, they're really into this. They shall not make baldness upon their hair, neither shall they shave off the corners of their beard, nor make any cuts in their flesh. Tattoos are still on. It's still going on. Yeah, you got a nigga can't pay his double on bill, but you're gonna go get a $800 tattoo. Okay, shaving his head. You know, making sure he's got the perfect lined up and everything like that. Of course, we see this, of course, with groups like IUIC, and ISUPK, mainly with IUIC. They tend to go into those things, but we were told not to make ourselves very attractive. In fact, we're going into a time right now where the men of the Lord are going to become the most attractive men. Okay, and the elder them, they always talk about that, the fact that the men of the Lord are going to become the most highest demand type of man out here in Great Babylon, America, because you can have something that these other men don't have, and that is a covering. A covering. The Mashiach is going to give you that covering in these times of trouble. Okay, you have brothers right now who have the ability, to have food on the table, in abundance, or other things like that, because you know um, wisdom was used during the time when things was out there so-called normal to, like, don't join these people in all of their little constant partying or celebration and stuff like that, because we're coming to that time right now as this devil is hammering down on the children of Israel, which Esau has always had a wicked eyes for us. And right now the so-called black woman who has been his partner in helping destroy Yasharala, destroy the so-called black man, Native American Indian man, and the so-called Latino man and Hispanic man. Okay, it's now uh, judgment is now coming to meet them. I know amount of tears and bickering on TikTok or YouTube is gonna give you that compassion. Some of you women are going to be unrecognizable, in the coming months, as you actually are actually really on the streets. Okay, now having to possibly have to prostitute your body, and believe me, you're not going to get as much as you think you're going to get. Okay, because the market is already saturated out there right now, with these women, right now hunting men on Facebook platforms like Facebook, where they're trying to just friend any man they see. They're not even looking at what the page is about. They're just looking at just like, oh, it's a man. So friend them like that, and just have the big, nasty, fat, stinky STD ass pointing at the camera, and that's what they're taking a picture of their ass. Like, how simple you can be. It's disgusting, man. All right, let's go into the Deuteronomy 14, Psalm 8 reads. Because here's what y'all eating this weekend. And yes, okay, because you got 4th of July weekend coming up, so-called independence of this wicked ass kingdom. But for now, here's what a lot of you jakes gonna be eating. And the swine, because it divided the hoof, yet chewed not the cud, it is unclean unto you, and you should not eat of their flesh nor touch their dead carcass. Don't supposed to eat pig, man. These you shall not eat. All that are in the waters, all that have fins and scales shall you eat. Fish with scales. All right. And whatsoever had not fins and scales you may not eat, it is unclean unto you. So there's a reason why we're not to eat those things like that. Now, if you're losing your benefits and losing your work or your means of being able to live inside and make ends meet, or so to speak, you're losing your health benefits. So what's going to happen right now? And we're not even talking about the people that took the jump juice, okay, a couple of years ago, which right now they're revealing that it was a bad thing. They were revealing it, but we always knew they was going to reveal it. There's a reason why we was given a warning at the detriment of channels being taken down, and your label as misinformation, whatever the case like that right now. But as it turns out, they now are revealing that, yeah, those things are bad for you. But so many people bow down. They bow down to those mandates, including a lot of you jakes that feel that whatever comes out of the so-called white man's mouth is what you should listen to, and not listen to the men that the Lord Yahweh Shemashah had set up, because we look too simple for y'all. We look too simple for you. So when you start suffering those things of eating those shellfish and the pig meat that has the parasites that's sitting down in your body right now, and then you haven't repented, and the Lord is not showing favor to you, when the elect has been sealed, the Lord is going to allow those parasites to really roam. And this is why you're going to see why Jake is going to be scorned in society so much, because when those parasites start to take over the body and eating up Jake's, and Jake's inside showcasing all these different type of ailments, which Esau is going to quickly establish as it's a pandemic, and it's coming from it's dramatically impacting the so-called blacks, and Latinos and Native Americans. He's not going to be wrong, because it's actually going to be really obvious that something is seriously wrong because now you're not under that protection or covering of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai. You're not ignorant to what you should not have eaten. So when you were ignorant to it, when you didn't know any better, and you weren't warned about it, you weren't shown scripturally that you shouldn't be partaking in eating these things. The Lord is now going to allow those things, those parasites to get to you, because especially those ones who come out there and just do it just to be, malicious about it. Look, I can eat thinking nothing happening to me. So when it started happening to you, Esau is not going to be there to open up his hospital doors to save you. He's not going to. Why would he save people that he hates? They want to get rid of you out of society, Jake. They absolutely hate you. They have what's going on right now, black fatigue. Okay? And Lord, we know the Lord is going to keep his elect out of reach for y'all to even reach out to help. And we've been told not to pray for you people. In fact, let's go into the book of Luke 6. Okay, because again, even though you have a lot of Jakes really, suffering right now, and they're starting to get that first taste of true adversity and abandonment, and we were talking with these women. Okay, you still have a lot of Jakes still prospering a little bit. They're still doing okay, and so they think everything is okay. Remember, they're gonna side with Esau to the very end. Okay, they're going to. It says, "Rejoice." This is Luke 6, verse 23 reads, "Rejoice ye in that day, and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. For in the like manner did their fathers unto the prophets." So, let's go back up. Let's go back up a little bit. And let's go to verse 20. Luke 6, verse 20 says, "And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples and said, Blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of power," which is us. Okay? So we might be poor, in comparison to the people that are considered wealthy, in Great Babylon, America, or even across this earth. I mean, we have such a bad image that, and I like to go into a lesson with this because you see it. I mean, it's obvious, and I know a lot of brothers probably experiencing it. We have such a bad image as a so-called Black man that even if you are in an environment where other people, other tribes are there, where it's considered, okay, let's say, for example, you staying at a hotel, like a Hilton or something like that, or that's, a couple of $100 a night, or whatever the case is like that. Let's say you're staying in a hotel, same hotel, but people will actually look at you like you don't belong there. And maybe you don't belong there as far as, yeah, but in their mind, they see you as like, why are you here? The service is a little bit different. The service is also towards you is a little bit different. Here you are. You're staying there, but at the same time, too, some way, somehow, they give you a different kind of service because in the back of their mind, they've already profiled you as just being someone that really shouldn't have the ability to do that, or you shouldn't be there. Okay? They don't look at all the variables. They don't look at nothing. This is how people view us. And especially the fact that we are coming out and talking about the so-called white man is eventually going to fall from grace and go into slavery. How dare you say that? But we've been told, blessed be the poor, for yours is the kingdom of power. Okay, we got rulership next. We're going to partake in the kingdom as rulers. Okay? It says, blessed are ye that hunger now, for you should be filled. Blessed are ye that weep now, for you should laugh. You get brothers right now doing lesson, okay, is going to be out there doing camp, those who are outside doing lesson tonight. What is most Jakes going to be doing? Partying. They're going to be out there partying. They're worrying about what they're going to wear tonight. What is today? Sunday. Yeah. Okay. They're still trying to find that mark. They're not concerned about, the mark of the beast could be implemented anytime soon. You can have Esau right now saying, you know what, send those tanks into those communities. Start rounding them up. Start running them in these FEMA camps that we have built that you know, many what they call them conspiracy theorists, which is not a conspiracy. We have proof and evidence of it. In fact, Trump proved they have these type of internment camps for Jakes when he sent Northern Kingdom tribe so-called gangsters, okay, to Guantanamo Bay, and also sent them over to El Salvador. That's a form. Those are internment camps where they torture you and they keep you locked down 23 or 24 hours a day and humiliate you the entire time. And see, the so-called white man is doing this in such a way that he could kind of wash his hands off a way that he's not responsible for the treatment you're getting. Kind of like how Pilate, he was trying to like say he washed his hand off, crucifying the Mashiach, and he gave the choice to the people. It's like, no, the Lord is still going to hold you accountable, Pilate. You're still going to be held accountable. You crucified him. If you really didn't want to, but you had no choice in the matter anyways, because that was what the Mashiach was down here for. It was for us. Okay. You could have just said, no, I don't care what the hell the crowd say. How many times right now you see judges have the ability, right now, in modern times, judges have the ability to throw a case out. They can look at it, look, evidence, and go, no, this is not going to trial. They throw the case out. So that means Pilate had the ability to throw the case out. He could have thrown the case against the Mashiach out. But he was puffed up. I'm going to do what the people, I'm going to wash my hands clean like I'm innocent of it, like that. And this is how Esau plays you, man. This is how Esau will play you. You try to deflect it on somebody else and say, well, they're the ones that's actually persecuting you. No, you set up the situation for that. It's in reality you. If you hire somebody to hit somebody, not only are they going to persecute or prosecute the person that did the hit or did the kill, they're going after the person who ordered it too. That's who, because it's both of you. You just didn't pull the trigger, but you did with your words and your ability, okay, to persuade somebody to go implement the actions that's going through your thoughts. So you did it. Okay. It says, blessed are you when men shall hate you and when they shall separate you from their company and shall reproach you and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake, which they're calling us racist. They're going to look at you and go, all you're doing is hating. When people come up to the camp and they see the signs in the back, which I did, I think 2 weeks ago, I did a shot of what my signs look like that I have out there. So in the front, you have facing the majority of the people is the MOTB sign and the 12 tribe sign, or I should say the artwork. And then on the back, you have with the slavery, the abominable food we shouldn't be eating, and all the atrocities that Esau has committed to us, and also the faces of the evil rulers of this earth, who they are. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. And people are deeply offended when they come and they especially see those particular pictures, okay, of those Amalekites and the word wicked above their heads or their pictures or their faces. And also when they see the merit of wickedness that Esau has committed against us. They don't like to see that because at the end of the day, our people have Stockholm syndrome and they really, really, really just want to just go blow right past it. So we coming up and we're talking about, we're as witnesses, we are bringing out, okay, what we seen Esau has committed on this earth, in particular against us. Okay, murder, rape, pillaging, all those things. Okay, and we are letting you know that it's written in the scripture that this was going to be done, and there's a judgment for what Esau has done to us, and people don't like it, so they hate you, they separate from you. People that I used to interact with in the world when I was out there in the world, that admire my work and my ability to get things done and all the other stuff like that and all that stuff. I haven't heard from any of them. And that's great. One or two of them that were Jakes that I had spoke with a little bit and let them know about this. They got away as far as possible. They don't want no part of it. It says, rejoice ye in that day and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. For in the like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. But woe unto you that are rich, for you have received your consolation. So we're not impressed with these guys that get the little stack of money and laying in the bed of money and talking about generational wealth. I mean, really, if you're talking about generational wealth to this day right now, and you're a Hebrew Israelite, you are truly lost in the sauce. What generational wealth? Do you see what actually is going on? And if you're a so-called celebrity, Jake, here in Great Babylon, America, and you see what they're doing with Pete, the likes of P. Diddy and all the rest of these clowns that we used to think was so cool and so hard back in the day, turn out to be just nothing more than super level sodomites, man. Super sodomites. These aren't just your ordinary faggots. I mean, these are doggone faggots on a whole nother level, man. On a whole nother level. Tawadi Haba Shemel Shai he doesn't allow us to actually see some of this shit physically in person. I mean, you can't imagine the wickedness that goes on in Hollywood and with these people that you see walk around with a smile on their face and appear to have everything going for them. Like, but deep down, man, it's sad, man. Look what you had to do. Look what look what these guys had to do. Look what they had to do to get what they got. So, but woe unto you that are rich, for you have received your consolation. What a way to receive your consolation, getting rammed up your ass as a man. What kind of consolation is that? Wow. That's your consolation. You're getting rammed up your ass, but you get to live a life. But you walking around with that like nothing. It says, woe unto you that are full, for you shall hunger. Woe unto you that are laugh now, for you shall mourn and weep. And we see that now starting with the doggone so-called black woman. The man, I mean, I've always been in a place of despair, but we know unless you're chosen by the Lord Yahweh Shemashah, that's going to get even worse. Where Esau is really going to go after the man of Yashra for the sole purpose of executing and murdering and killing our people. It's like here. For some reason, I keep thinking I have a hang lip here, hang something. I don't know. Maybe it's a reflection, right? We'll see. It says, for ye shall hunger, okay? Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. You have a whole lot of the man, instead of embracing this truth, and now making mockery videos. And, Tawadi Habashimi Ashai for the elder brothers, them that are finding these videos and they're bringing it out and they're speaking on it. They're speaking on it. We get to see it. And we can see the mindset of most of our men. They don't want to be men. They don't want to be kings. They don't want to be royalty, nothing. They just want to be just low-level men in this society. Comfortable just being at the bottom, just comfortable having some beast from the caves ruling over you and telling you what to do. He can kill you and murder you or do whatever the hell he wants you at any time he wants. Powerless. And they're comfortable with that. Okay? And they despise anyone that dares to speak against, the wicked of this world, against our oppressor. How dare you speak against, their God, the red man that can't even stand out in the sun. You go there, you see a lot of these Edomites out there this weekend, out on the beaches and stuff like that. They'll spend like 20 minutes rubbing doggone sunblock on their skin. They can't even stand up out there and even enjoy the sun, whereas the sun gives us strength. That's how you know, because if you see like how they portray Superman is always portrayed as getting his true power. What makes him more powerful than all the other Kryptonian is the fact that he was on Earth, and the yellow sun that he absorbed, the rays from the yellow sun that he absorbed, make him much more powerful than all the other Kryptonians. The other Kryptonians can come to Earth, they'll be super, but they would not be like how Superman is, which we know Superman is really us, because sun, which gives us our vitamin D, is what really keeps us healthy, nourishes us and gives us that strength. But it works opposite for the doggone Edomites. It works opposite for them. It burns their skin, makes them sick, peels them, and ages them rapidly. So while they have the wealth and the wealth, they don't have the health. This is the book of Psalms 10, Psalm verse 8 reads, he sitteth, and is let's actually go up and let's talk a little bit about what's going on right now, because we see these judgments these judgments are now taking a hold of these Edomites. Okay. With the low level ones, but even the high level ones, things are not going quite the way they wanted to go, because they can't deceive the world in the way that they really wanted to. But that's the reason why they're gonna have to eventually come with the MOTB, which is what Yahweh Shema Shah is bringing out to try the whole world. That's gonna be the ultimate test. But right now, they got to keep modifying their ways, because every time they turn on the YouTube or any type of media, what do they see? The prophets speaking what they're gonna do before they even do it. So now they have to keep adjusting. It says, the wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after power. Power is not in all his thoughts, because they have control over everybody on this earth. So, while they're not going to give the glory and honor to Yahweh Shemashai for anything, they're not going to, Elon Musk is not going to say, you know what, this technology I have, which I would like to kind of bring to the world and introduce to the world, really, this was inspired by Yahweh Shemashai. They ain't going to say that. Okay? They can never give honor and glory to the Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, for anything that they have learned to do. Nothing. Continue, says, his ways are always grievous, that judgments are far above all of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them, because his thing is, what can you do about it? Not a damn thing. Nothing. You got these low-level Edomites right now saying, you know what, we don't have to attack. We're not going to attack the Black community. And they show us how dare not attack us. And he was speaking in such a pride way, like as if they could easily just squash us. So we're not even worth for them to even come into it like that. We'll just leave them over there as long as they don't try to bother with us. This is the same type of Edomite. He talking bold like that. But it was Jake was a backhand slap the fuck out of him. He shit his pants, and then he's a victim now, and he's looking for help. Could prosecute him. Talk all that shit. You Edomites don't know exactly how this is going to play out. So y'all should be humbling yourself, okay? The elites have the nuclear weapons. The elites own the money. The elites have and run the police force or the military force. Not you doggone next door neighbor, piece of shit, broke ass, bad health, old way, chunky looking red crackers, okay? You don't have shit. You ain't shit. Okay? So what are you boasting about? And we've told you over and over and over, when we're not speaking to y'all. Y'all are the walking dead. We're speaking to y'all. We're speaking to the royalties of this earth, the gods of this earth. We're kings. We're gods. We don't speak to low-level shit. This is not for you. Y'all already dead and don't even know it. So don't puff yourself up, because the words coming out of your mouth is like trying to hear an ant scream and you step on it. You can't hear it. You're nothing. It said his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud, and his tongue is mischief and vanity. This is the elites. They talk shit about us. They're the ones that label us. They have the ability to label us as whatever they want to label us as. And they can turn the world against us. In reality, it's the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai who's given them that ability to do it, because he's going to destroy them eventually. He sit in the lurking place of the villages, in the secret places, though he murdered the innocent, his eye, the priest set against the poor. All his legislations and laws and rules that he make up is against us. It's a constant trap. Constant trap. You run from one to another, to another, to another, to another, to another, to another. And that's why you have to maneuver with wisdom here in Great Babylon, America, and especially in these times. It says he lied in way secretly as a lion in his den. He lied in way to catch the poor. He don't catch the poor when he draw him in his net. Despite what's going on here in Great Babylon, America, Jake still is going to go over there and do what these Edomites are doing out there, wasting time, energy, resources that you don't have, just so that you could be a part of the great Babylon America illusion. And that's all it is. It's really an illusion. Okay. You know it. You down. There's really no future here. You Jakes know it. But because the warning isn't, because Esau, even when Esau come and tell you doggone niggas that you're gonna have like a little bit of inflation going on and some hard times and shit like that. Because they did come and say it. Trump did come and say it's gonna be tough for a while. But you think y'all would buckle up and would repent? No. Y'all becoming even more and more rebellious. Okay? More and more rebellious. Instead of looking on, maybe those men were speaking on something. They talked about this. They spoke about this. Instead, y'all are making videos to come up against, the man that'll give you the warning. And we're just in the beginning stages of these horror that the Lord is going to be bringing on the children of Israel. Something known as Jacob's trouble. By the time y'all figure out what's really going on, it's too late. It's too late. The elect would have been sealed, and it's just chaos all over. Keep in mind that we are always the target for these Edomites when shit don't go right for them. Continue says, he crouched and humbled himself that the poor may fall by his strong ones, meaning you are going to, you look at the smiles and the fake smiles and the talks and we are equal from Esau. First of all, if Esau is telling you we're equal, why are you happy about that? In the back of your mind, if you don't say it outright, you should know you're not equal. You're superior to all tribes on this earth. And Esau is the least of all the tribes. That's why he's the base of man that was given the authority of the earth. So the Lord can show you he can take a caveman and make him king of the earth. Okay? But he's telling you love when Esau's telling you that. You should be insulted. You're Yasharala, Prince of the Power, man. Why are you letting a caveman puff himself up telling you you're equal? We bring a lesson every day and let Esau know you're not equal. Not to us. You're lower than all the other tribes. You're at the bottom. And that's going to really manifest itself in the kingdom. When we put you through your 1,000 years of hardcore, brutal slavery. So horrible. There's a parable about it. Okay? There's a parable about it. When you look at all the things that we're going through Deuteronomy 28, you don't hear I don't see any line that says where Jake is pleading, okay, to have Esau stop. But when Yahushua told the parable of the beggar and the rich man, the rich man is like pleading, please help, Lazarus, come and dip the tip of his finger to cool my mouth. You want Lazarus to show you mercy. He wanted Lazarus to show him mercy. That's also where the so-called white man judgment is going to be in the kingdom. When we oppress him, it's going to be an oppression unlike anything that anyone in history would ever known during that 1,000 years. Okay? He had set aside power had forgotten. He had hidden his face. He will never see. Yes, the Lord Yahweh Shemashai sees it, and you are going to get a judge accordingly. Let's go in the book of Obadiah 1 and 13. Obadiah 1 and 13. I love the book of Obadiah because, it's just one chapter, but it's very conclusive exactly how Esau, what Esau's fate really is all about. It's Obadiah 1:13 reads, thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands in their substance in the day of their calamity. See that? Calamity. And that's what we've been experiencing, is calamity. And rather than picking us up and helping us, what Esau has done, he's used trickery. Pretend like he's helping, but yes, so he's the one that's causing the problem. You're in problem and adversity, guess who's there? Esau. If he has a need for you, he'll use you, trick you, trip you up, and laugh at you. Look what's going on right now with the PDD trial. How many of those jakes are they exposing as super sissies, man? Super faggots. Okay. So what Esau is looking and saying, like, okay, these were the men that you were looking at one point in time, idolizing and thinking that they were something, that they were powerful. They used to one time come out and even talk about, how they hate the so-called white man and all that shit like that. But here they are, so easily controlled by them. You know, remember look what they did with Mike Tyson. They had Mike Tyson turn around and show his ass, his ass to the camera, which was basically them letting letting everybody know basically that they bongy they screwed Mike Tyson. He wanted to have if he wanted to get out of the situation that he was in, not only did he have to make a sacrifice, by slaying his little daughter through I think it was Exodus was her name, drowned in the pool. But on top of that too, here's a man that used to call his opponents sissies. Now here he is, having he had to bid the baddest man on the planet, had to expose his buttocks to the camera. And he did it because they already bought him. And leading up to that, you can turn on YouTube without seeing some podcast or some bullshit with Mike Tyson for years. And now it's like he never exists. He's fulfilled his contract with Esau for now. For now. Okay. This is Ecclesiasticus 13, verse 4. It reads, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee, but if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. And if you have no skill or any way you can influence, Esau is going to forsake you. Why was Esau was able to get into IUIC, ISUPK, and the rest of these other groups? Because he can tell, because they had agents inside there in those groups who would speak to the leaders and, might have whispered something like, what if you were handed a bag? What if? And they might say, well, if it all came like that, I probably would do this and do that. So they was working them. I'm quite sure in GMS, there's agents, okay? But why is it that GMS have not taken a bag? It's because they're the true men. Likewise, and then likewise brothers, okay? So if the agents that have infiltrated Great Millstone, okay, they have not been able to convince any leaders to turn to the bag. They can see what they're experiencing is these men cannot be corrupted by the things in this world. Okay. So we would, not be for their profit. And they ain't making that move yet because at that stage they already know now the true prophets are those men, okay, that have not bowed down. It says, if thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yeah, he make thee bear. I will not be sorry for it. So, Esau don't mind giving to you, and he will also take it away from you. He'll make you feel good for a minute. And just like that, smash you down. If he has have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? What do Jacob always sing in their music? They're always singing about big house, mansions, all the other things. Okay. So Esau already know what you want. And Esau will give them like maybe 1/100, a fraction of what it is that they want so that they continue to make those doggone demonic music to keep the youths influenced with all these negative thoughts and hatred towards their brothers and sisters, people that look like them. It says, affect not to be made equal unto him in talk, believe not his many words, but much communication will he tempt thee, and smile upon thee will get out thy secret. So stay the fuck away from these doggone Edomites, man. Deal with them the way you have to deal with them for whatever business or transaction you have to make and then move on. Keep it moving. Don't reveal anything about yourself. It's better to underplay where you really at than to overplay or try to like, oh, well, I can do what the white man do. No, man. We've already done much more than the white man could ever dream of doing. Okay? Without us, he would have never been able to build this wicked queen known as Great Babylon America. We did it for him. The Lord Yahweh Shemashai gave us to him to do it. Okay? As a punishment. And we have more than enough than what we need. Food to eat, a roof over our head. We're not starving. We're not sick. We're healthy. We can work out. That's all you need for right now. That's all you need. We're going to get the rest in the kingdom. More than you can even begin to even comprehend on a level that you can't even comprehend. It says, but cruelly he will lay up thy words and will not spare to do thee hurt and to put thee in prison, which is what you're seeing going on with doggone P. Diddy right now. See, P. Diddy or Sean Combs was always a fag. He was always a fag. Even before he got into the music industry, he most likely was a sodomite. He was most likely a sodomite. So all Esau did was just basically gave him what he wanted. Okay? Esau gave him all the things that he wanted, and he was able to indulge into those things. That's why what they call it freak offs, and everything will be revealed. Nothing hidden, okay, is going to be hidden forever. Everything is now being revealed. The wickedness of Esau, okay, and the wickedness of Jacob that have sided with Esau and doing a lot of the things that Esau likes to do, and which this place is known as spiritual Sodom and Egypt, sodomites and slave drivers. And you will work your ass off to death for nothing. You're surrounded by sodomites. What did Jake them think was going to happen when you connect with these people in Hollywood or in the music industry or whatever the case is like that? Even in a regular job, 9 to 5 or corporate jobs like that, they want to do this happy hour and all that stuff. Next thing you know, you got some friggin' on fruitcake in the office. They had their eyes on you and they get some type of lust for your ass. And that's why they like to hire the gay Jakes. If you walk in there masculine for the interview, they ain't you. But if you're a big 6'5", feminine spirited ninja, boy, they love that shit. They love that shit. Nothing more than a doggone so-called white man is to be dominated by a big black man. Sicko man. Sick. In about a week, we go into 30 days of them pandering and celebrating what they call Pride Month, Sodomy Month, so to speak. Okay? This is Amos 1:11 reads, thus said the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, for 3 transgression of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. So Esau, pursuing the Genesis 27:41, when he said that he's going to come after us, murder his brother Jacob, which is 12 tribe of Israel, he's done just that. Now he hasn't come out outright and just gone and started slaughtering us. That's going to come a little later, where he's going to just outright just killing Jakes in the street. If we're going to be watching what this FBI task force is going to be doing out there in Memphis, where they say they're going after these young niggas, who are what is called switches and stuff like that. They claim there's a lot of crime out there, so they're going to go clean it up, and we're going to see how this is going to play out. I'm quite sure they're going to make up a few things that's going to cause them to really go through each. When they see the results from Memphis and how they can just grab Jake some of these places like that, and these Edomites start saying, oh, this is good, I feel more safer now. And then Jake's come and go, oh, this is good, I feel more safe right now. The Jake says worldly. That's going to justify what they're doing is right. And they're going to go to every major city in this country, in this nation, and do just like that, and do just that. Okay? Do just that. They're not doing it for the good of anybody. They're really doing it because this is part, okay, of that vindictive mindset Esau has towards us, where he wants to get us in any way possible. And one way Esau can justify that is if he can get Jake's down to side with what he's looking to go do, to persecute us. Oh, that leaves no boundary now. He can just get out there and just destroy and pillage and do whatever the hell he wants. Okay? This is the reason why you're seeing right now when they come with, going after the northern tribe kingdom, the northern tribe men. They getting rid of all the men. Notice how they grabbing all the men. Okay. So this man is coming away, he wants you to take the job. He set Eve up with welfare. Now he's taking that away. So the vulnerable of our people, which is the women, and a lot of these women, they have like children of the wedlock, so these children are going to suffer too. These children are raised by the street, so Esau's going to grab them up, and a lot of them are going to disappear off the street into either internment camps or whatever type of ritual sacrifice Esau them is going to use them, drink their blood, whatever the case is like that. Okay. And this is what's going to happen to our young people as Esau gets out there and there's so much chaos in the street that nobody's going to notice that they're hauling away young men and women who will never be seen again. Never be seen again because Jay's going to be in more chaos, scared, frantic. It's not going to look and crash and go, what the hell is going on? Where's my daughter? Where's my son? Where's cousin this, cousin that? Esau is going to take them. I'll give you an example of that. When they had the hurricane in Grand Bahama, Freeport in the Bahamas, I think it was maybe 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. Can't remember the exact time frame, but they had it. All these private planes came from the United States and claiming that they were trying to help. And a lot of these pilots were like, white boys who could fly their planes, acting like they can help and, all this stuff. They'll come with some water or food or whatever the case is like that. And then, some people in the Bahamas, they started to get a little suspicious and go, what's up with this? We need to implement where we're checking these planes because nothing is what it seems. Esau is never there to help you. You have something called child trafficking. To this day, right now, since then, somewhere around 3,500 to 4,000 Bahamian children are missing. Gone. Little girls, little boys. Gone. They're coming these private planes, luring these children in. Nobody's looking at. They're doing the cleaning up, and there's a little bit of chaos and stuff like that. And push them in the back of the plane, take off. Gone. That, if you were wise, that should have been at the forefront of your mind. Never trust thy enemy. The forefront of your mind. Okay? You didn't ask for the help, so what the hell they help? Why are they coming? Especially individuals, not coming from a major organization like the Red Cross or anything like that. Just individuals just gonna jump in your private plane and fly down there. You're helping. Come on. Let's go into the book of Ezekiel 35, verse 6. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood should pursue thee. Said thou hast not hated blood, even blood should pursue thee. Okay, so you said you're going to celebrate your doggone Memorial Day or Memorial Weekend. Hmm? But the real thing that Jason always remember is what Mashiach did for us. Take a look at all of the hideous things that Esau has done to us. When you look at what Esau has done to us, that is what you should be remembering. That is what you should be remembering. Okay? What Esau has done to us. But the Lord is going to have blood pursue them. So they're not going to get away. You have the Edomite nations right now coming against each other. You got Russia. And what happened today? I believe somebody tried to shoot down Putin's plane or helicopter, and they retaliated with a massive strike in Kyiv, in Ukraine, which they know is being backed by NATO, okay, / America. So that's on a low scale right there where you have Egyptians against Egyptians, and that's going to expand even more. And that's going to be that blood. But then you have the Mashiach that's going to come back and really deliver that killer blow to Esau rulership. And then you can have the men that's going to be changing the gods who are going to come on the earth and go on a campaign of grabbing these Edomites or their dwelling places, their hiding places, put them in slavery. And just like how we died in slavery, they're going to be dying in slavery too. You know, they're not going to be immortal. Let's close out with the book of Numbers 23. Because Jason would always say, you know what? Y'all always talking about this happening and that happening and this happening, but I don't see nothing happening right now. And if there was a God, why the hell are we going through what we're going through? There's a reason why we're going through what we're going through because we're disobedient. The fact that you actually have the breath to even speak out against this shows right off the bat that the Lord is actually showing mercy unto his children and to his people to give them time to repent. This is Numbers 23 and 19. It reads, power is not in man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. So he's not like us. You don't have to lie. Had he said, and shall not he do it? Or had spoken, and should he not make it good? So right away, if the Lord Yahweh Shemar says he's going to destroy you, you're going to be destroyed. It's just that simple. He doesn't go back on his word. He doesn't have to bend his word. He doesn't have to bend his will to you. Nothing like that. And that should scare the living the crap out of you. It's his will. So if he said he's going to put Esau in slavery, Esau is going to slavery. He said he's going to put us in slavery. We went. He said he's going to judge us to all kinds of tribulation. And that's exactly what happened to us. The women were cursed with baldness, stench between their legs, obesity, and a spirit of whoredom. And they got a pride on them, which is all going to be destroying them. Okay? Because now you have they use what little position that Esau gave them to destroy the Hebrew Israelite man. And now that's those privileges are being taken away from them. And they're in a worst case scenario because they are bald head, they have a stench between their leg, and they still got a dumb pride on them. So right now they're in a position where no man wants them. No man wants a stinky woman. No man wants a big, fat, obese, stinky woman with an attitude. And these women are going to suffer hardcore here in Great Babylon, America, the so-called Black woman and you Latino women. You bring nothing to the table, not even looks. That's desirable. You're undesirable. And that was what the Lord said he would do to you. For the man, you would have no security of going out, that you would be coming back home alive. A simple pull over by the cops can end your life. And how many times have we seen that? Or some other nigga out there, or Jake out there looking at you and you don't like how you look. You might have bumped into him, or you might just walk and he just don't like how you look. You just look like somebody that he just think he should just go and take out. Or you're in a position where you have to go and then go do something that you would normally do. So you have to go steal or whatever case like that. And then in the process, you were put to death or put into one of these internment camps known as prison. The Lord said that he would do that to us. So the men and women have been cursed. Likewise, these other nations, pursuant to Deuteronomy 30:7, they will have these curses put on them. They will be at each other's throat in the kingdom. In fact, leading up to that, they're going to be on each other's throat. They're going to be hating on each other. There's going to be factions and divisions amongst them. And this is going to be with the Edomites too. And you're seeing it happening right now as we speak. And that's going to just be a thing for them going into the kingdom. It's going to be our heaven and their hell. We can prosper while they just constantly having to struggle and struggle and struggle and pay tribute to the tribe of Israel. At the same time, They have to learn all new righteousness and forget about the old world, which is ruled by these wicked ass Edomites. That's going to be their hell. But eventually they'll overcome it, with the exception of the Edomites, who are going to be rounded up and completely destroyed out of existence. So this has been the camp. Lord willing, the elect has been edified. I'd like to give all glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Shalom.